Hi, my name is Dakota Hunter, and I'll be reading one of the most well-known poets, Leslie Newman, and I will be reading her following poems: Shifting Piles, Out to Lunch, Ivy, and Paranoia. One of the recent awards that she had recently won was the Sydney's Body of Art Award, following the year 2019 and 2020. And one of the things that she firmly believes in is changing the world one book at a time. Now, the first poem I will be reading is Shifting Piles by Leslie Newman. I place a pile of credits to my left and a pile of debits to my right. After I type the numbers from the debits onto the credits, I pile the debits on top of the credits. Then I pull the carbons from the credits and separate the copies into piles. I interfile the piles and bring them over to the files, where I file the piles and pull the files, making a new file of piles. Then I make files for the pile that has no files and put them into a new file pile. I take the new file pile down the aisle over to the table where Mabel makes labels for April to staple. I take the new label staple file pile back down to the aisle over to the file to be interfile with the pile of filed files. After I file April's piles, I get new debits from Debbie and the new credits from Carrie. I carry Carrie's credits and Debbie's debits back to my desk. I place a pile of credits to my left and a pile of debits to my right. After I type the numbers into the debits onto the credits, it's 10 o'clock, and we have exactly 15 minutes to go down to the cafeteria and drink coffee, or go down to the parking lot and scream. The next poem I will be reading is Out to Lunch. We walk past the guard on our way out to lunch. "Let me see your ID," he says. I unbutton my coat to show him the badge that he gave me 4 hours ago. "Oy vey do I, Debbie says to me. "Last night, I went to an exercise class." "What kind of exercise class was it?" "Jazzercise. That's what you get for exercising those old bones," the guard says. Now me, I may save those old bones alone. "Hey girls, as long as you're going out for lunch, why don't you sign up right now? Just put 5 o'clock right here. That way you won't have to do it later. I believe in making my life easy." The next poem I will be reading is Ivy. I worked here for 2 weeks before I noticed the stem of ivy that I have crept through the crack of the wall and growing slowly across the carpet towards the African violet on my desk. I pointed out to April. "Oh wow," she said. "That should be on the most incredible thing on TV, you know? Those things where all those interesting people do all those interesting things, you know? Like hanging upside down out of an airplane or something. You know, people do those amazing things." Now the last poem I will be reading is Paranoia. You know, this afternoon I realized that Carrie's hair really isn't blonde, and her makeup and her eyes look a lot bluer than they really are, and I typed the New Rock instead of New York 5 times in a row without realizing it, and then Annie asked me today's date, and I had to stop and think about it for a really long time. I didn't even see April standing right next to me with a box of paper clips on her hand for 5 minutes until she tapped me on the shoulder. And I can't even tell when the music's on or the music's off anymore because of all the other noise going on in my head. And why do I always look up at the clock? And I have exactly 10 minutes till 4. I had this funny feeling, and that Mary Carey was sent here from another planet who's trying to take over the Earth. So they cloned all these women to look like secretaries, and they're slowly dulling our minds by making us type these numbers all day long until our brains aren't about as useful as an empty of gas tanks and drop dead at my typewriter. and I bet I could walk here past naked, and no one would even notice except maybe the janitor who comes in once a week with an empty trash and says the same joke. Oh, so your can's full again, huh? And maybe I've been reading too much science fiction or smoking too much dope lately. But it can only be the coincidence that Carrie just happens to be the first one in here every morning making everyone coffee for the rest of us to drink. And oh shit, I just typed $3,338.83 instead of $3,338,000.38. And you know Veronica, who sits behind Carrie? Well, she has dyed blonde hair too. And kind of think of it, when she mails in the time card every week because she said it would be easier that way, but that means I have no record of my hours. And maybe this is all a dream. And I'm really always here. And maybe it's too late and I'm the last one left who has not even been taken over yet. And they're waiting for me to surrender. And they can use this bank as their national headquarters, or maybe even have taken over the rest of the country already. And I should call the president because I'm the only one left with any brains whatsoever, but I'm not even sure about that.